Hello, good morning. Happy Saturday. Thanks for those that are joining me now or those that will be joining me later in your day as your time allows to practice. So this Saturday, I am going to do a 30-minute session. It's going to be pretty restorative. I'm feeling super tight. I ordered a Peloton, has not arrived yet, but I've been doing some of the videos on the app. And yesterday I did the Friday 45. And so my hamstring and my glutes are pretty sore. So I'm going to take care of myself today and kind of stay low to the mat, feel pretty grounded, and just feel a nice deep stretch in the body. So if you will join me on your mat, as you can see, I have a blanket. If you want to get a blanket, a mat, and a block, if you have that available, go ahead and get that set up and then come to a nice, comfortable seated position on your mat. We'll begin just by connecting with our breath, bringing ourselves into the present moment. So sit however it feels good to you. Maybe that's lotus, maybe it's half lotus, maybe it's just Sukhasana, a nice easy pose. Sit up nice and tall, close your eyes. Your hands can be on your knees, palms face down or palms face up, kind of collecting all of that positive energy around you, bringing it into your practice today. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Opening up through our chest, allowing that prana to flow all the way through our body. Focus on grounding in to the earth, feeling the sensation from your sitting bones, from your sacrum, bringing you into the present moment, to the here and now, to this time on your mat. Breathe in, breathe out. Really cultivating that yogi breath, letting go of all other thoughts, all other noise in the mind, and simply bringing all of your focus to the breath. Maybe place one hand on the belly, one hand on the diaphragm to really focus your attention to the breath. Focus on the lift of the diaphragm as you inhale, and as you exhale, just kind of feel everything fall as you let the breath go. And as you cultivate that breath, try working on your pranayama, your conscious breath work. Maybe as you inhale, start to count. Maybe start to hold the breath at the top of the count and then exhale. Let's try to inhale for a count of 4, your count of 4. At the top of the breath, hold for 2, and then exhale for 5. Let's try that together. Inhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2. 1, 2. Exhale for 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2. 1, 2. Exhale for 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And try that for 3 more cycles using your own count, following your own breath. Inhaling, holding, retaining the breath, and then exhaling. As you finish with your breath work, your pranayama, go ahead and bring your hands to heart center. Think of that intention, what you want to get out of your practice today. It can be anything that you choose. Come to that intention throughout your practice to bring yourself to the present, to the time on your mat. Before we begin, let's go ahead and we'll take one deep cleansing breath in, and then we'll exhale everything out before we begin our practice. Inhale deeply, and exhale it all out through the mouth. Slowly bring the hands to each side of your legs, sitting up nice and tall. Begin to open the eyes, bringing the attention back to the room. Inhale, arms rise. Gaze up at those thumbs. Exhale down. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale down. Inhale, arms rise. This time as you exhale, bring your left hand down to the mat as far out as it feels good. Right arm stays lifted. Keeping both of your sitting bones pressed into the mat. Just find a nice deep side stretch here. Maybe gazing, looking at that hand, kind of opening up our right side body. One more breath. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bring that right hand as far out as you can. Left hand is lifted. Feeling a nice stretch in the left side body. Remembering to keep those sitting bones pressed into the mat. As you turn, opening up the chest a little bit more. Remember as you practice to always honor your body. Recognize pain and a good stretch. Sometimes if we're feeling pain, a good sign in our body is we tend to hold our breath. So if you're holding your breath, that might be an indication to come out of the pose. Inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, just hinge over those hips, allowing your hands to reach wherever they may fall. Palms pressing into the earth. You can stay like this. You can slowly start to bring your head down. Feeling a nice stretch in the back of the spine and the neck. One more breath here. Inhale, walk the hands over to the right. Again, as far wide as it feels good to you. Maybe that forehead comes down to the knee. One more breath. Move it, that's Ravner. Inhale, walk the hands back to center. And exhale, walk them over to the left side as far as it feels good. Stretching that right side body again. Maybe bringing that forehead to the knee. One more breath. Inhale, walk the hands back to center. And as you exhale, just push yourself back up to that nice, comfortable seated position. Let's do some seated cats and cows. Inhale, arms out to a T. Exhale, clasp the hands behind the neck gently. On your next inhale, pressing those shoulder blades together, just like they're kissing, gaze up towards the sky, coming into our cow pose. As you exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin, bring the elbows together, cat pose. Inhale, open, shoulder blades kissing, gazes up. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin, elbows together. Do this 5 more times using your own breath, really focusing I'm pressing those shoulder blades together on the inhale, and as you exhale, bringing those elbows together. Tucking that chin to feel a nice stretch through the spine, up through the neck. As you finish, again, just come to that nice, comfortable, seated, easy pose. Go ahead and extend both legs out in front of you, sitting up nice and tall. I am going to use my blanket and keep a nice bend in my knee here, just because my hamstrings are tight and I want to make sure and take care of them. So just a nice seated forward fold here. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, reach for the toes, making sure your back stays nice and straight. You don't want to have a circle of a spine. Just stay nice and tall. Maybe you can only come to the knees. Maybe you only come to the shins. That's okay. Wherever you are is perfect for your unique body. Just keep reaching that heart forward. And this should feel really good in the backs of those legs. As you can see, this blanket is really helping keep my knees bent, keep those hamstrings protected for me today. Take one more breath. As you inhale, just go ahead and roll up, coming up to a nice seated position again. If you're using that blanket, go ahead and remove it. Bring that left foot to the inside of that right thigh. Again, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, the arms rise. Exhale, hinging over, reaching for that right foot. Again, maybe you only come to the knee, maybe it's only to the shin, maybe you can get to the foot. Pulling and drawing that heart forward. Maybe you can find a twist. Right hand stays on your leg, left hand comes up. One more breath. Inhale, release, come back to center, and just switch legs. Bring the right foot to the inside of that left thigh. Sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, the arms rise. Exhale, hinging over that left hip, reaching for the left foot. Again, you can stay here, reaching either for the knee, the shin, the ankle, or the foot, drawing the heart forward. Or find a deeper stretch. Left hand stays on the foot, right arm comes up. And twisting and opening up to that right side body. One more breath. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, go ahead and open the legs wide into a nice wide straddle pose. So whatever feels comfortable to you, however wide your gait feels good, do that. If you need help kind of hinging forward, you can always sit on a blanket, a pillow, or a block. That will kind of help tilt your hips forward. So sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, lengthen, reach to the fingertips. Exhale, fold. Allow your hands to drop wherever they may. Maybe you want to reach for the ankles. Maybe you can reach for the feet. Maybe it feels good to allow that head to drop. Whatever feels good for you, feeling a nice stretch in the back of the hamstrings. Drawing the heart forward. Using the breath, sending the breath to those hamstrings. Get a nice deep breath. Relieve that lactic acid that may be built up in there. One more breath. Inhale, release. Bring the legs together. We're just going to find a little bit of a pretzel, a seated twist. So bringing your right foot over that left knee. If it feels good, tuck this left foot. Get rid of my blanket. Back behind you, so you really are a full pretzel. If that's too much, go ahead and just extend the left leg out. So just do what feels good for you, always honoring your body. Sitting up nice and tall, I'm just going to find the twist. So twisting open over to the left, using the left elbow to press against that knee. Right hand comes behind you, pressing that right palm into the earth. You want to make sure you're not slumping that back into that right hand. You're still sitting up nice and tall, finding a nice stretch, gazing over the right shoulder, making sure you're breathing. You should feel a nice, good stretch here on the outside of that leg. I know I am right now. Feel free to put a block on that right hand. Kind of make sure that you're sitting up nice and tall. Another good tip to make sure that you're not slumping into poses, you can put that block standing up, and then if it falls down, you know that you need to sit nice and tall. One more breath here. Inhale, release. Come back to center and just switch legs. So bringing the left over the right knee. Again, you can have the option to tuck that foot behind you, really coming into a pretzel. For this side, it feels good for me. Inhale, open, finding a twist over towards the left. Left hand behind you, right elbow pressed into that left knee. Again, making sure you're sitting up nice and tall and you're not slumping down into the pose. Use a block, a blanket, or a pillow behind you if that feels good. It helps you sit up nice and tall. Again, stretching out that left outside quad and hip. One more breath. Inhale, go ahead and release. Exhale, extend the legs out, shake them out a little bit. I'm going to come onto all fours, tabletop position. Making sure those shoulders are stacked directly over the wrists. Our knees are hip width distance apart. And let's just come into our cats and cows here. On the inhale, arch the back, gaze up, cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin in, gaze at the belly button, cat pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Do that 5 more times using your own breath. And as you finish, just come to a nice flat back here. Bring that right hand into the center line of your body. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, bring that left hand either just to the center of the back or try reaching for that right hip. Stretching through that shoulder right now. One more breath. Inhale the arm back up. Exhale, bring that left hand back to the mat. Left hand comes into the center line of the body. Inhale, right arm. And as you exhale, reach for the left hip, stretching the shoulder, opening up through the chest. One more breath. Inhale, right arm rises. Exhale, bring the hand back to the mat. Go ahead and extend your hands all the way to the top of the mat, dropping the chest down to the mat, coming into puppy pose. Pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, each finger point and palm is pressed. Coming down onto your forehead or onto your chin, whichever feels good. Again, we're just stretching through the back, through the shoulders. 2 more breaths here. On your next inhale, go ahead and walk the hands so they come directly under those shoulders again. We are going to tuck the toes. We're going to come into a downward facing dog. This will probably be the only time we come into down dog today. So do what feels good here. Walk the dog. Try pressing the heels into the mat. Rise up under the tippy toes. Press them back down to the mat. Shake the head, yes and no. Again, just feeling that nice stretch in the back of the legs here. If you need to keep a nice bend in the knees, do that as well. Always honoring your body. Let's take 2 more breaths here. On your next inhale, go ahead and drop to the knees. As you exhale, come back into child's pose. Either knees together or knees far wide as the mat, whatever feels good to you right now. Allowing the head, the forehead to touch the mat, rolling it back and forth. Maybe rolling back and forth on those hips. On your next inhale, go ahead and walk the hands to the far right as it feels good to you. Bringing your head back down to the mat or to the floor. Maybe bringing that left hand on top of the right. Inhale, walk the hands back to center. Exhale, walk them to far left. Bringing the right hand on top of the left. Head comes back down. One more breath here. Inhale, walk the hands back to the center, child's pose. On your next inhale, push yourself up to a seated position. Come onto that right hip. We're going to come to a nice seated position, keeping the knees bent. Come into seated figure 4. So bring your right ankle to that left knee. Again, stretching the outside of that right hip, sitting up nice and tall. Hands come behind you, kind of pushing your chest forward. This is just kind of another variation of pigeon pose. It's more a modified version. One more breath. Go ahead and bring that right foot down to the mat and then just switching sides, left ankle to the right knee. Hands behind you, pushing that chest and heart forward, really feeling a nice stretch on the outside of the hip and the leg. Keeping that left foot flexed. One more breath. Go ahead and release. Left foot back down to mat. I'm going to come down to a flat back. Inhale, the arms rise, and using your core, just slowly come down to your nice and vertical and fully lengthened onto the mat. Beautiful. Extend those legs out. Trying to make sure you can still see me. Inhale the right knee, using your hands clasped right below the knee. Keeping the right foot flexed. Just pressing that knee into the chest, feeling a nice stretch in the back of the quad and the glute. Using your right hand, go ahead and circle out that hip in one direction. Just finding some mobility within the hip, opening it up a little bit. And then switch directions. When you come back to center this time, allow that right knee to drop over the left leg, finding a nice spinal twist. Arms come out to a T, gaze over the right shoulder. Maybe use that left hand to push the knee down towards the ground. The knee doesn't have to be touching the ground. You can put a block under there. That's not the goal. The goal is just to stretch through the side body and through the spine. Trying to keep your shoulder blades on the mat, and again, gazing over the right shoulder. As you inhale, bring that right knee back to center. Exhale, lengthen it on the mat. Inhale, this time bring your left knee up to your chest. Clasp your hands right below that knee. And just gently bringing that knee towards the chest. Finding a nice stretch here through the back of the glute and the quad. Keeping that left foot flexed. Again, let's find those knee circles. So using the left hand this time, allow the hand to open up through the hip, circling it out through the knee. Bringing it as close to the floor as it feels good and as close to the chest as it feels good for you. Continuing our breath in and out through the nose. And switch directions. When your knee comes back to center, allow that left knee to drop over the right leg. Arms coming out to a T again, pressing the shoulder blades into the mat. Gaze over the left shoulder this time. Inhale, bring that left knee to center, right knee meets it, and just give yourself a nice hug, wrapping your arms around your knees, bringing that chin to the knees, rocking gently back and forth, making yourself like a little bug, like a little roly-poly. Bring the soles of your feet together, dropping them down to the mat, coming into butterfly pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. Tuck the shoulder blades. Again, bring your heels as close to your sit-in bones as possible, as it feels good. For more restorative, just walk the heels farther away. So your choice. You figure out what feels good for you today. Placing one hand on the chest, right on top of the lungs, and one hand on the belly. And start to allow that breath to just come normally as we finish our practice today, our very restorative practice. Maybe flutter the wings on your butterfly a little bit, getting a nice little stretch within those inner thighs here. Releasing some of that tension in the hips. And just connecting with our breath. Take 2 more breaths here. And go ahead and release your hands to the ground, palms face up. Lengthen the legs, allowing the ankles and feet to just splay open. Tuck the hips, tuck the shoulder blades as we prepare for our final pose, Shavasana. Lengthen through the body. Start to release each muscle and tendon, giving your body a chance to relax and rejuvenate. Allow the breath to come normally in and out through the nose. Simply allow your body to just be. Shavasana. Again, I invite you to stay in Shavasana as long as possible, as long as you need. Always stay for at least 1 minute. As with every exercise that we practice, you need time for your body to rejuvenate. Allow your body to rest so you can come back and do it the next day and the next day. When you're ready, give yourself a nice deep overhead stretch, full body stretch, bringing the hands and arms overhead, point and flex the toes. Come to your favorite side of your body, cradling your head in your arms. And when you're ready, push yourself up to a nice seated position. I am moving a little bit faster. Again, feel free to stay in Shavasana as long as possible. Keep your eyes closed. Finish however it feels good for you. Sitting up nice and tall, bringing the hands to heart center. Thank you for showing up today on your mat, taking the time for yourself. I know my body feels so much better after 5 days of training. Today, I felt that I know I need to take better care of myself, and that means coming to my mat more often. So thank you for showing up, for being open to your body, to being open to the practice of yoga. In deepest gratitude, namaste. Again, thanks so much for your time today. Keep practicing. Like I always say, practice makes practice. You will notice that your body is always different and you may not be able to do the same thing from day to day. And that's the joy of yoga. So keep practicing, yogis. Hopefully I will see you again soon. Namaste.